Hi, PerspectaWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Thursday, June 14th, Flag Day, and appropriate weather for Flag Day as the winds will kick up, gusting past 25 miles per hour in much of the I-95 corridor region from D.C. to Philadelphia to New York City. There will be plenty of sunshine. A strong frontal system passed through Pennsylvania and the rest of the Mid-Atlantic region in the overnight hours. There were some strong to severe thunderstorms upstate Pennsylvania, for example. Wilkes-Barre looks like it had a tornado, and there was certainly some damage. Thankfully, no injuries apparently, but again, a tornado in the Wilkes-Barre region of northeastern Pennsylvania. That frontal system, mainly a humidity type of front, not necessarily a cool front. It will not really turn cooler today, but certainly noticeably less humid today compared to yesterday. Again, with plenty of sunshine and winds picking up out of the west to northwest. It'll actually drop maybe 3, 4, 5 degrees by tomorrow afternoon, and then it looks like a warm, probably a mostly sunny weekend. There's still a couple of flies in the ointment. There could be an isolated shower or two, primarily north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border, Saturday night and Sunday, but for the most part, it's looking like a decent weekend. And then it looks like Monday may turn out to be the hottest day of the year so far, with high temperatures well up in the 90s, or could end up being an excessive heat alert for Monday. The good news is that it looks like it's a one-day affair with that excessive heat. We start to turn a little bit cooler on Tuesday, and certainly by Wednesday of next week as additional frontal systems will pass through the area. So again, a nice stretch of weather begins today, goes through the weekend. Again, a couple of flies in the ointment for the weekend. And then Monday looks like an excessive hot day in D.C., Philadelphia, and New York City. Well, before we get to the current weather situation, just wanted to point out a posting on the homepage of the PerspectaWeather.com website this morning about Tropical Storm Agnes, which hit Pennsylvania, hit the D.C. metro region quite hard 46 years ago. In 1972, at this time, there was a what was once a Hurricane Category 1 status, Agnes, that took this track, came out of the Gulf of Mexico. These white circles represent where Agnes reached hurricane status, and then it took a turn to the northeast, and the interesting thing is it just slowed down here and actually stalled out in northern Pennsylvania, southern New York, and sat around for a few days, and that stalling out caused some excessive rainfall, especially in Pennsylvania and all the way down into the D.C. metro region, flooding like never seen before. Again, to this day, one of the worst natural disasters ever for Pennsylvania. And again, areas like northern Maryland, parts of the D.C. metro region got hit very hard as well. So again, a very interesting story about Tropical Storm Agnes 46 years ago today, that peaked around June 14th, 1972. Well, here's a current surface map. A few things I want to point out here. First of all, that frontal system that passed through the region last night is driving to the south and east. Again, it's called a cold front, and it certainly is colder throughout the atmosphere, but at the surface level where we live, it'll still be quite warm today. In fact, just about as warm as yesterday, with high temperatures in the 80s. It's really a humidity front, much more comfortable air moving in right at this hour. And again, the winds will pick up out of the west to northwest in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, gusting past 25 miles per hour or so during the midday and afternoon hours. High pressure then will take control and maintain control right into the weekend. Again, tomorrow looks like it'll be a little bit cooler, maybe 3 to 5 degrees cooler than this afternoon. Highs very comfortable, upper 70s for most parts in the I-95 corridor. And this high pressure area should maintain much control over the weekend. It can be an isolated shower late Saturday, Saturday night, and again on Sunday in areas north of the Mason-Dixon line. Out west, they've been very, very hot and dry out in the southwestern part of the country, but a big change in the overall weather pattern is about to unfold. First of all, there is a tropical storm just off of Baja, not seen on this surface map, called Bud. It's Tropical Storm Bud now. Its moisture will ride north and east right into the southwestern U.S., and that'll begin quite an extensive long-term change to the weather pattern over the southwest U.S. Much more rainfall coming over the next several weeks in the southwest U.S., and that almost by definition will keep it cooler than it's been relative to normal. So a big change in the overall weather pattern coming to the southwest U.S. It has been very hot and dry, and it will become much, much wetter and therefore cooler over the next several weeks. Well, let's take a look at last night's 6Z GFS model run. First, we'll walk through the 500 millibar height anomalies. Upper level low pressure centered over New England this morning. Again, a refreshing air mass moving into the mid-Atlantic region. It stays quite nice this afternoon, tonight, and on Friday. It does turn quite warm over the weekend, and then we'll see some excessive heat on Monday. And we'll see the reason why in a minute here as we move forward here in 6-hour increments. These maps available from tropicaltidbits.com, produced by NOAA's GFS model run at 6Z last night. Here we go now by tomorrow morning, still under the control of this upper level low, and again it turns a few degrees cooler tomorrow afternoon compared to this afternoon. But then notice this ridging starting to pop up over the upper part of the Midwest, and also notice upper level low associated with that tropical storm Bud over Baja California. Again, big pattern change for the southwest U.S. Let's move forward here, and two things happen. This expands over the southwest U.S. and western part of the nation, and that ridge starts to edge in to the mid-Atlantic region and the rest of the northeastern part of the country. Here we go by Saturday morning. Diminishing influence from this upper level low and ridge starting to take over. Pretty nice weekend coming up for the mid-Atlantic region. But look what happens by the time Sunday rolls around. Quite an impressive ridge setting up over the Great Lakes region. Again, out in the southwest, a wetter pattern developing with upper level troughiness and cooler temperatures as well out there. By the time we get to Sunday night and Monday, this is the peak of that hot weather coming here. It looks like Monday probably well up in the 90s in D.C., Philadelphia, New York City, probably the 80s on Saturday and upper 80s on Sunday, but Monday looks like a potential excessive heat day in the I-95 corridor. The good news as we move forward here, it's really a one-day heat wave. It turns cooler by Tuesday. Here we go by Tuesday. There'll be a frontal system to deal with, and certainly less impressive in terms of that upper level ridging over the eastern U.S. by the time we get to the middle part of next week. Well, let's walk through the surface forecast maps from last night's 6Z GFS model run. Again, precipitation is over with now in the I-95 corridor. Any clouds around early this morning will move off to the south and east very soon, very quickly. Basically, plenty of sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine in much of the I-95 corridor. Again, winds will gust past 25 miles per hour, whipping that flag around on Flag Day. The winds will be out of the west to northwest, pumping in refreshingly dry air for this time of the year, and a pleasantly cool night tonight. Notice northerly flow of air here. These isobars showing up a line from north to south, and the wind will drop out of the north late tonight into tomorrow, ushering a little bit cooler air for tomorrow afternoon. The thickness values drop a little from this afternoon to tomorrow afternoon. Probably low to mid 80s for highs today in the I-95 corridor, and upper 70s. A beautiful day on tap for Friday. Then we get into the weekend, starting off with high pressure centered over the mid-Atlantic region, but there are a couple of features to worry about, primarily north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. There may be a weak disturbance, could cause an isolated shower Saturday night into the day on Sunday. Again, it looks like north of the Pennsylvania-Maryland border. It does turn warmer over the weekend, well up in the 80s in all areas by Sunday afternoon. Again, another shower possible, kind of with a warm frontal system passing through by Sunday night, and that will usher in very hot air. Here we are by Monday morning, still basically rain-free, cannot rule out a shower or a thunderstorm. Again, perhaps the hottest day of the year so far on Monday, with high temperatures well in the 90s. Humidity will certainly be noticeable as well. Good news is it turns somewhat cooler by Tuesday and Wednesday of next week. So great weather today for Flag Day, and very appropriate with the winds whipping around the flags, gusting up to 25 miles per hour or so, with refreshingly dry air compared to yesterday. That's it for now for PerspectaWeather.com. I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.